Venkateswara, IPS, was born in the year 1964. He has been appointed as a cadre in the year 1989. His educational qualifications are postgraduate in mechanical engineering, MA Economics. His hobbies are reading, writing, non-fiction on philosophy, economics, technology and agriculture. He joined the Indian Police Service in the year 1990. He worked all over undivided Andhra Pradesh in various capacities. He is presently the Commissioner of Police, Vijayawada city, and striving hard for our country.
Indeed, it is a golden opportunity to learn and imbibe many things spoken by the intellectuals present here. Now, I take a boundless honor to call upon our chief guest to bestow us with his valuable message.
Convener SAMYAK, Dr. V. Srikanth, Chairman Dr. K. L. Narayana, Pro-Vice Chancellor Dr. A.V.S. Prasad, Vice Chancellor Dr. L.S.S. Reddy, Chancellor Dr. R. Srihar Rao, Vice President KLEF, Engineer K. Rajahari, Correspondent Sri Mrs. Kanchanalata, President Sri K. Satyanarayana, and all the faculty members who are present here today, and thousands of young ladies and not so gentle boys. A very good evening to all of you. It's a privilege for me to be here today. All credit goes to the Professor Khan Dada. I was quite enthused by the kind of program that's been held here, SAMYAK, pulling in thousands of youngsters from all over the country to work together, to discuss together on various issues which are of paramount interest to their careers as well as to the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to inform you that around 25 years ago, I taught for a semester in this college. I taught IC engines and some kind of production engineering for one semester just before joining my training for the IPS. That was some of the best time that I had in my life, because I just passed out of my post-graduation, and Sri Koner Satyanarayana was generous enough, kind enough to give me an opportunity to fulfill one of my life's ambition, that is to teach. I still remember it was this university. That time it was just a college. It was still in its infancy. There wasn't even a canteen that time. There was hardly any road, and Dr. Koner Lakshmaya, who was the founder of this college, grandfather of Mr. Rajahari, in his old age, he used to come to every classroom and watch from outside how the faculty member is teaching a subject. So that is the kind of dedication that he showed, which was the reason why and how this college has come to this stage within a short period of about 20 years. This goes to show the dedication and commitment towards education shown by the family of Sri Koner Lakshmaya. In fact, their family is completely dedicated to this cause. I don't think they have any other interests in life, no other business interests, and their entire family is dedicated to this cause. It's good to see people like that. It's only because of people with such zeal existing in this part of the country that Vijayawada and surrounding areas will become the center of education, not only for Andhra Pradesh but for the entire country. It's good to reminisce those days. And of course, just about 5 years before that, that's about 30 years ago, I was a student like you, and I enjoyed my college life so thoroughly that I always miss it. And me and my classmates keep going back to our college, trying to look for our popular hangouts and to relive those days for a few hours at least. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in an important profession. You have chosen an important a very, very important career, which has been the foundation of entire human civilization. Doctors heal those who are sick. Lawyers litigate when there is a dispute. Policemen patrol the roads. But it is engineers who build civilizations. Whether one is formally educated and formally graduated from a college, or is dropped out of high school and taken up some branch of engineering on his own, like Bill Gates did, or people have built great places, people have built great machines, great tools, even without being very formally educated as engineers. And compared to their contribution to civilization, what they have got in return in terms of monetary benefits or in terms of name and fame is just nothing. Compared to the kind of services they have rendered to humanity without their even knowing it, what they have got in return is absolutely nothing. Today a lot of people talk about Bill Gates and the kind of wealth that he has enjoyed, but compared to the wealth that he has created by inventing an operating system and popularizing that operating system and making it almost a universal operating system, the kind of wealth that he has built in the entire world is thousands and thousands of times that he has got as a person. And we all know that a lot of what he has earned he actually turns around into public causes in the form of a trust. I have once read about a guy called John Deere, after whom a famous tractor company still exists. This guy was working in the Midlands of the US in the 18th century, or in the 19th century. It was 1840s or so, 1850s. Midwest of US has a peculiar soil wherein any plowing instrument quickly gathers a lot of mud around it and becomes useless. So this guy, being a mechanic, he has invented a tool by which the accumulating mud would be scraped off by a small projection that he gave to the plow. That, ladies and gentlemen, has revolutionized agriculture in the Midwest of the US. Can you imagine? Just one twist of a tool would revolutionize an entire, a country-sized geographical area. And that was the reason why the American agriculture is concentrated on the Midwest now. And his name still lives on in the form of a tractor company that he has founded. But however, millions of such qualified or unqualified engineers are the ones who have built the civilization over the years. So we should all be proud of being engineers, and you should all have only one goal in life: to contribute something to the world so that you leave it in a better shape than what you have found. Friends, it is important to know your subject. It is important to specialize in areas of your interest. But at the same time, as engineers, it is very, very necessary for all of you to have some idea about other important related fields. I saw economics as one such field which has very close relationship with engineering. Because no matter how great an engineer you are, unless you know your financials, unless you know your economics, unless you know how things work in the real world, you won't be able to convert your ideas into practical solutions for the world. Without wasting much of your time, I will just leave you with one thought. Over a period of last, let's say 10,000 years, man has been building up what are typically called the capital assets. The roads, the buildings, the ships, the trains, the aeroplanes, the tools, the factories, all these are capital assets. We should sit back and think and try to understand how these capital assets have been built over these thousands of years. What happens is like this. Suppose you earn 100 rupees today. If you consume all your 100 rupees, nothing will be left for tomorrow. And nothing will be left of it to build a tool, to buy a tool, or to make a tool. What you are expected to do is take your 100 rupees, consume 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 rupees out of it. You are supposed to save the remaining 60. The 60 rupees is used to invest in what is called capital goods. That is machinery, tools, equipment, which will increase your productivity. It is, just as an example I can give you, suppose somebody makes money based on the time that he spends in a factory. Suppose he is paid an hourly wage. If he works for 1 hour in a day, he gets 100 rupees. If he works for 10 hours, he gets 1000 rupees, let's say. And the guy is so poor that he starts walking to the factory, which takes him about 2 hours time every day. So that means he's losing 2 hours of productive work every day. What he is expected to do is, out of the earnings that he makes, he is expected to save some money, purchase a bicycle, which is a tool again. Purchase a bicycle and reduce his commuting at least by an hour, so that he makes an extra 100 rupees every day. If the bicycle costs about 1500 rupees or 2000, let's say, in 20 days time he makes good on his investment, and from 21st day onwards he makes a profit. This is, ladies and gentlemen, how an economy works. This is the simplest example to explain the very, very complicated and complex real world of people earning money, saving, investing, making a profit, increasing productivity, creating capital goods, and creating jobs. That is exactly how jobs are created. Jobs are created if you start making something. You can make something only if you invest something. You can invest something only if you save something. Of course, you can save something only when you first earn it. So this is the cycle of investment, cycle of savings, investment, job creation, productivity increase, and again creating jobs, earning money, creating wealth, blah blah. This is the cycle, ladies and gentlemen, which we have to hang on to. The only difference between our country and the developed world is the amount of capital goods that we have, the sum total of capital goods that we have. Over a period of time, the Western countries have been able to make a lot of money and save a lot of it, invest it wisely, and then make profits, and then reinvest, resave, and that's how they increase their capital goods. If you go to any one of these foreign countries, developed countries, you will be amazed at the kind of infrastructure that they have built over thousands of years. Most of them have actually done it in over hundreds of years. Just in the last 300-400 years, they have accumulated huge amount of capital goods. They have been able to do it by two distinct processes. One is a very high saving rate. Number two, a very investment friendly atmosphere in the industrial and service sectors. These are the kind of things that we have to pick up from the Western countries and implement them in our country. what we are lacking right now is our savings rate is not high enough compared to the West in terms of total sum of money. Our savings rate may be high, but our base is very, very low. If you make $100,000 and save 20% of it, that's pretty good enough. $20,000 per year is good enough. Whereas if you make in India just about $5,000 and even if you save 50% of it, that's not good enough on a per capita basis. So our total savings have to increase. We have to work harder, consume less, save more and invest more. And the second thing is we have to have an investor-friendly atmosphere both in the social, political and financial realms. So these are the kind of conditions that the governments are trying to create today. It is very heartening to note that state governments are competing with each other to attract investments and big ticket industrialists. So this is happening only for the last let's say 10-15 years. Earlier to that, industrialists were seen as looters or thieves, in fact, to be brutally frank. So it's only in the last 10-15 years that industrialists are seen as wealth creators. They are seen as job creators. They are seen as essential and important tools of development and increasing per capita income of a state. So this is a welcome change. It is already dawned on those who are intelligent enough, but still a lot of change has to come in the thinking process of our masses at large. So that requires probably a few bold steps by government, and also it requires rethinking on the part of the intelligence. So far as you guys as engineers are concerned, just keep these things in mind, that you have to create new ideas and implement them in real world, in real time. For that, you have to look at the industrial environment, you have to look at the feasibility of the project, you have to look at the return on investment, you have to look at the savings and the investment pattern, and you have to look at who is going to finance the project. And these kind of things are hardly ever taught in engineering colleges. At least they were not taught when I was a student. Not in so much of detail. My only advice to this great institution which is coming up very well is, please introduce more and more subjects which impart life skills to the young engineers, so that they can straight away get into the act of being entrepreneurs instead of just being job seekers. I wish all the best to all the participants in this summit 2015, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and a patient hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a proud privilege to be here. Jai Hind.